Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're exploring South African theater.
Mm,
It's this really powerful blend. Indigenous traditions think vibrant dance, music, storytelling, poetry.
right, all interacting with Western theater forms.
Exactly. And what's so vital is how it, constantly dialogues with South Africa's social and political shifts.
It really does mirror the nation's own journey. It's a living reflection.
Yeah. So our mission today is to look at both sides, the scripted plays and also the workshop pieces, the ones created collaboratively.
And understanding this, you really get a unique view on the country's history, its culture.
And its ongoing evolution,
Yeah.
definitely. Okay, let's start with the scripted plays.
Right. And you have to talk about context first.
Oh, absolutely. Colonialism,
Hmm.
the harsh realities of apartheid, that whole transition to democracy,
Mm-hmm.
it's all left a huge mark on the playwriting.
Mm-hmm. And that presented a real challenge, didn't it? Especially for Black playwrights writing in English.
How so?
Well, sometimes there was this feeling, maybe a sense of detachment from their own cultural roots. You see it in early writers like H.I. Lomo. You can clearly spot the Western literary influences.
Right. Interesting. Meanwhile, Afrikaans theater, it sort of developed more on its own path,
Yeah, kind of independently. It tackled themes from, national identity right through to pretty sharp political critiques.
like Bartho Smith.
Exactly. He wasn't afraid to explore tough subjects, guilt, identity, societal oppression, that kind of thing, even challenging conservative views within that community.
It shows that dissent, that challenge, can come from within too.
Absolutely. Then post-apartheid,
Hmm.
a big shift.
Yeah. What happened then?
Well, first there was almost this creative pause, maybe uncertainty, but then boom, an explosion of new voices.
Ready to celebrate the diversity.
Yes, multicultural, multilingual theater, mixing performance styles. It was exciting. Early plays often dealt with reconciliation, the messy bits of the new democracy.
Which brings us to now. The contemporary scene sounds incredibly dynamic.
It is. It's a space for celebration, sure, but also critique and just important conversations.
And things like arts festivals, community theater, they're key for nurturing new playwrights.
Crucial. The message is write, rewrite, listen to feedback, get it on its feet, practice.
Okay, let's switch gears. Workshop plays. Totally different beast, right?
Completely. No single author here. It's all about collective creation.
How does that work? Improvisation.
Yeah, improvisation, group collaboration, everyone chips in. It's inherently democratic, valuing oral traditions, shared stories.
A more inclusive way to make theater? So
Yeah.
what's the actual process like?
It often starts with observation.
Mhm.
Really deep research interviews, reading, watching real life unfold.
Yeah.
Then comes improv, building scenes together, maybe writing bits down as you go.
And then shaping it.
Exactly. Selecting scenes, finding a structure. Often it's episodic, minimal sets, maybe simple costumes. The focus is really on the actor's physicality.
And the influences sound fascinating. Traditional African storytelling meets Grotowski?
Brooker.
Biff Brecker.
Mm-hmm. That whole mix. Grotowski's poor theater, Brecht's ideas about making the audience think critically.
And during apartheid, this form must have been vital.
Oh, incredibly so. It was resistance. It was education. It was about keeping cultural memory alive when so much was trying to be erased.
And some key names drove this. You mentioned Athol Fugard.
Fugard, absolutely. Bonnie Simon, Malcolm Perkey, Mbongani Ngima, Philin Reclotswear, Laura Foote Newton. Really significant figures.
Fugard's work with John Karangi and Winston is shown of the Island, for instance,
A perfect example, using their own stories, weaving them with classics like Antigone.
to talk about dignity, resistance, oppression.
Right on stage, performances protest, powerful stuff with very little in terms of props or set.
Let's touch quickly on one workshop technique, the character-based approach.
Ah, yes, that involves intense observation again, watching real people,
How they stand, move.
their gestures, clothes, behavior, all those details to build believable characters from the ground up. Then improvisation and collaboration take over to build the piece around them.
Like Barney Simon's method, start with the person.
Exactly. Let the characters guide the story.
So wrapping up this deep dive,
Hmm.
we've seen these two powerful streams in South African theater
The scripted word on one hand,
and the collective energy of the workshop on the other.
and both give us such valuable ways to understand South Africa's history, its culture.
It's ongoing transformation.
Yeah, it makes you think, doesn't it? How these different ways of telling stories, the individual playwright versus the group effort, how both shape and reflect a nation's identity, its experiences.
A great final thought. How do we tell our stories, and what does that say about us? Something for you to ponder.